actually good. Meaning, I mostly looked at under normal circumstances like dislike was not there, so it was more like when I was in meetings, when I was hearing to something, whether I was liking what I was hearing, disliking what I was hearing. For both I was pricking, meaning for both like and dislike I was pricking. First meeting which I had between 11:30 and 12:15, or it went up to 12:30. In that almost some 15 times I was pricking myself. Because there was like, dislike, so many things were there. So 15 times almost actually. But then for the next meeting, which was an even more, in that meeting I had to straight tell somebody that something which he had done is not, I can give you an example. He was a gate assessor. Instead of being a neutral person, because he belonged to a certain group, he started to put those people in CC and all those things. So I felt that that was not right. So I had to tell him that this is not right. You need to be in a neutral position. Surprisingly, in that meeting, I was conscious enough. I didn't even need to prick even once.
Good.
Because though there were so many things which were, he was kind of justifying himself why he put it and what is the underlying reason. So I was just listening, and they had no likes and dislikes in that.
Good.
So I felt there was a lot of difference between the first meeting. First meeting was an ordinary meeting, but still I had so many likes and dislikes. Then slowly when I started to understand that I should not be doing it, meaning it was a mixture of day before yesterday's and yesterday's exercise together. Meaning it is mithya when I'm thinking. I did not have that like or dislike.
Very good. Excellent. Good morning, Bhatt.
Morning.
Yeah, we felt that you have punctured your hand.
It's a screwdriver.
It's a screwdriver.
This is screwdriver. I don't know. You're able to see.
Yeah, able to see. Okay.
This is that stick. This is from ABB only. I got it when I was in Pina.
Okay.
Along with some equipment, it comes free, na?
Okay.
For my tuning at site. I love this.
Good.
Okay, now anyway, detachment because
So now you have to prick yourself.
Yeah, see, this is what it is.
That only. No, but you have to prick yourself.
You are to.
No, I was just joking. You said you love it, so you have to prick yourself now, I said.
Correct. Is there?
Very nice. So, how was that?
I could not join through mobile phone. I don't know what happened. I have iPhone. Today that icon is not there to join. So then I just tried through laptop now.
No worries. So, how was the experience on your pricking?
Experience is good, but number of pricking, if I do it, I'm sure it's impossible for me to work today. but the thing is, in my mind only, I created one space for pricking.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the awareness was there throughout. For me, that means it goes to the like a day-to-day interactive world. But the awareness comes, I can say, very frequently. And yesterday I had to deal very tough one or two situations. And in those situations, it was not any my emotion based or anything. It just came out in a very spiritual way. But other party did not feel anything bad for that. They knew that it is their problem.
Very good.
And they fully accepted whatever discussions because there was no any masala or anything. I had two very critical things to deal with the two people.
Okay.
And end of the meeting, it was very happy closure. Even though they are the heavy losers because of that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, and my all other interactions, whatever I had with all people, I was just maximum observation was there. Observation, and then during observation, I used to just come to this mithya world immediately as it is satya. That time, I used to remember. I kept this in front of me only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. nice experiment and nice experience. Good.
Yes.
Okay, so Lata had something to share. Maybe she can talk about that.
Okay. So since I am sitting in one room, I have a lot of time to sit and contemplate, or and spend a lot of time on these topics. So I was watching one of the videos of the Buddhist teachings from Vilas, and there I had one thing got. One thing struck me. One statement what Vilas was making was resonating within my mind for a long time. So there is one person who attends that class named Suyog. So I guess maybe he is a professor in college or something. I don't know. So Vilas was making one statement that he has come from college and to this room. So he is dead in the college and alive in this room. So this was kind of going on in my mind, and I think it was yesterday, not today, yesterday morning or somewhere. I know I am sleeping, and somebody is in between the sleep, somebody is telling in my mind, it is becoming Vyakta and Avyakta. So then it was kind of becoming obvious to me that person, the Suyog, is unmanifest in college and getting manifested in the room. In the real sense, he is not going anywhere and coming anywhere, actually. So it is becoming Vyakta and Avyakta. And so this I was contemplating a lot, and now I am beginning to understand what it means. And also you can extrapolate it to the all the movements, whatever you move your hand, you move from one room to another. So it is like you are dead in that space and then becoming Avyakta in that space where you are standing, and then becoming Vyakta in another place you are going to. So, but actually speaking, you are not going anywhere, or nobody is going anywhere or coming anywhere. So the same thing happens at death as well. So your senses and the mind get established somewhere else. Like when you move from one room to another room, your senses are established in this room. Now when you move to another room, it is getting established there, actually. Same way, when you are dead, you are Avyakta in this realm probably, and then you become Vyakta somewhere else. So this is something experience which I have got, and I have been contemplating on it. Then I was also thinking that Vilas has introduced me to the Buddhist teachings in the right time. So even though I have been doing and contemplating and investigating, and I think it is also working, but with the Buddhist teachings, it has become faster. I might have reached the same conclusion via going this Vedantic way, but the Buddhist teachings made it more clearer, and maybe it made me understand or perceive things faster. So then I was also I also remembered that when I was reading the autobiographies of Swami Rama, Sri M, or some other yogis, their gurus used to send them to different teachers, different gurus, Aghoris and many others, and also Buddhist monasteries. So they were all, I know for Sri M, he has been sent to a Buddhist monastery and he has learned something from some Buddhist monks and lamas, but then he has never mentioned what he has learned. If you read, check of any of his YouTube videos or any books, he has never mentioned what he learned there. But then now I am beginning to understand that maybe once you reach some state, then in order to make things faster, Buddhist teachings might help. It is not that our other teachings like Patanjali Yoga Sutras or Bhagavad Gita will not lead you there, but it may take a little bit more time, is what I feel. So another thing which I was trying to correlate with the Buddhist teaching and the Bhagavad Gita. So there is one, I think it starts with that only, the Buddhist teaching. There is a no personality view. So no personality view means there is no person that Vilas keeps mentioning. There is no person actually. It is only a play of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So we have learned that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas in Bhagavad Gita, and there is a lot of explanation given on what each of those is. So in a different way, it is explained in the Buddhist teachings, the no self view, and that too, that is mentioned in a more relatable way, I would say. Like we will be able to understand it much easier. The same philosophy. So it is kind of proving to me that all the traditions are the same, and the words which is used to explain is kind of different. So this has been my experience. So that is so what that actually means. It kind of opened up for me. So this is what I wanted to share today. So I think I have covered whatever I wanted to say. Yes.
Good, thank you, Lata.
Yeah.
So Lata now feels Buddhism teaching is much more easier to practice and faster method compared to Bhagavad Gita and Vedic, because the route here mentioned is longer, there it is short, correct?
Yeah, but actually, it is not so. It depends actually. So you will have to reach some stage to understand Bhagavad Gita first of all. So if you have understood that perfectly, then I guess probably you will be able to reach faster. But I'm talking about my perspective. And but if you read Buddhist teachings or try to understand Buddhist teachings just like that, maybe you will not be able to understand so easily. It depends on what is your level of understanding and how much you are able to grasp. So for me,
clarification. Yeah. Go ahead.
So from my point of view, I felt that it helped me and it came at the right time, because I was kind of stuck. I didn't know what to do and how to proceed, and somehow it opened up another layer for me, actually speaking. And then you come back to this Vedantic teachings, you will be able to understand it much better. It is more or less everything is the same, but in Buddhist teaching, it is explained a little bit more clearly, what you can relate to. Not in code language, I should say.
Okay, my question to Vilas. My understanding so far was 95% both Vedic and Buddhist teaching same. Only the last part is something different. It is Shunyatavada, here it is Purnatva. And to achieve after this, we have studied Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There are 3, and last pada, and the Veda, the last pada of I think this Patanjali Sutra. There is one thing they again the Purnatva point of view. I think there is something beyond that Veda talks. But all these 3, when you see, till the 95% it is same. The last 5 to 10% different. Is it true? Or from the day one practicing Buddhism is easy? Because here you have so many things in Vedic. There are so much of R&D is done by a variety of people, and all that is put in a structured way by this maybe Veda Vyasa or this 2-3 acharyas. Is it a very long journey to reach the same destination?
Yeah, so let me answer it in a very proper way. So there are 3, rather only one thing, but split in 3 parts. So the first part is the philosophy. Both the Buddhist philosophy, Jain philosophy, and the Upanishadic philosophy is perfect, flawless in the philosophical point of view. Then that means Shravana, if you were to put it, that word, all the 3 provides you the same what I can say, knowledge or mineral or the faculty or whatever is required. So all the three are excellent in that way. Then comes the middle ground, wherein you require that raft or a boat or whatever to cross over. In that, the Shramana Marga, which is Buddha and Jain or Mahavira, they have given their boat also. Whereas in the Vedanta and Upanishads and Vedas and all that, you have to develop it yourself. It is not that somebody will give it to you. So you need to find a teacher and learn the art of making the boat, because what boat he is going to prepare might not be suitable for you. So you need to prepare that boat. And then the final, that is reaching. All the three same. They will make you reach exactly the same destination. So in the beginning, it is excellent in Vedanta and excellent in the Buddha. In the middle, it is confusing in Vedanta but excellent in Buddha, because you don't have to develop anything extra than what is given to you. And in the end, both are excellent. So the problem is in the middle, not in the first half or the last half or last. Its problem is in the middle. So now what happens here is that if, like what Lata said, if you have understood the philosophy of Vedanta and then you look at the Buddha teaching, it will give you the raft. And when you sit in the raft, you exactly know what to do. Here in the Vedanta, what we are doing is we are creating a raft for ourselves. So the first and foremost problem, like what is indicated in the Vivekachudamani, is also the teacher and the student. So the teacher should be one who has understood what is Brahman or experienced what is Brahman. And the student is the one who is interested all the time in knowing Brahman. So, and then he has to put in Shama, Dhamma, Uparati and all that. Whereas in the Buddha teaching, it starts with that only. So what I'm trying to say is that, like what Lata correctly said, even if I'm a Buddhist from Buddhist family or born into a Buddhist family, that necessarily doesn't mean that the journey is short, because I might not even understand what Buddha said. And most of the people face that problem, that even they wouldn't know and they would be only doing it like a ritual as any other Hindu tradition would be. So there are very few people who have really understood what is Buddha teaching, but they are far more than the Vedantic people who know what Vedanta is all about. Like, Chandrasekhar Bharati, if you take it, he is one person whom we can know that he knew what is Vedanta. But if you were to see, not many people know the philosophy. That means the excellence in the beginning, and they don't know what to do in the middle, and they don't know what is in the end. All the three are not there, so they would just do some ritual and end with it. So that can be in Buddhist or Jain or Hindus, Sikh and all that. All religion have the same problem. So if we were to take a philosophy like in the case of Upanishad or something, and that's the reason Shankara made it mandatory that only you study 10 Upanishad, you don't have to study all the Upanishad. And you just go through Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutra. So that was his boat basically. But then he didn't say how to jump, how to get into the boat and modify it. So the middle one is the slightly tricky thing. Actually, even with Vivekachudamani, you will get to know how to prepare the boat. But if you start preparing the boat, there's nobody to validate and say that whether this boat is fit enough to get into that samsara. So, like Lata aptly put, if somebody knows the philosophy, like in the case of, about Shankara teaching or something like that, to a very good level, then if you were to investigate using Buddha teaching, then you will reach much faster than just traveling through Vedanta. That doesn't mean that you will not reach at all. No, you have to prepare your own boat. That is the only difference between the Buddha teaching and the Vedanta. Otherwise, it's all the same. Now, coming to Purnatva as a question and Shunyata, this has been totally misrepresented at the advent of Mahayana. So, Buddha never taught about something called a Shunyata. He spoke about Shunya, not Shunyata Vada. That means everything is Shunya. No. If you really see, he said what is Purna in a more practical approach rather than a theoretical approach where we say that na iti neti. So that literally means that you are creating Shunya for all and then making one as being Purna. Which is exactly what Buddha also did in saying that what is this pure consciousness? How do we experience it? So instead of calling neti, 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 he said that look at it as a Shunya. Like Shankara also talks about the Shunya in the sleep. Your Shunya, meaning you is not there. The personality is not there. So the Turiya stage is when you live without you being there. That's basically, that is Shunya of yourself. And that is Purna. Same thing is with Buddha. You stay without you being there all the time. And that becomes Shunya of yourself. So both is Purna. Now after this advent of Mahayana Buddhism, that it got distorted to such an extent that it became a Shunyatavada. So that is a little bit of history on that. But otherwise, if you go through the apt Buddha teaching, wherever it is required, you will find the boat. Not how to prepare the boat itself. And that gives you clarity in what you need to do to cross the ocean of samsara. And you can come back to Vedanta. Then it becomes so easy to understand about what is being said. Like what Lata said about the Rajas Tamas Sattva. In the 14th chapter, Krishna straight away he explains, saying that, look, there is no person there. There is no Ishvara. There is nothing like that. It is only the action of Rajas Tamas Sattva and you need to transcend that. And we have read it, but it becomes impossible to accept that there is no person sitting there, because we are so tuned to believe that somebody should be there. So Atma should be there, right? So then now Atma becomes a personal Atma. So we have these things, and then when you really look at Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, you know that Atma is something which is common to everyone. It is not my Atma. It is Atma as a whole, not as an individual part. So the Purnatva is Atma. So what Buddha did is, he first made it to show what really exists. And then you will know, what really doesn't exist, and that will help you to see what really exists. Whereas in the Vedanta, it talks about what really exists. It talks about Sat. That is, if you look Satchidananda, it talks about what exists. It doesn't talk about what doesn't exist. Whereas Buddha, what he did is that since it becomes conceptual and you cannot really experience what really doesn't exist, he started with looking at what really doesn't exist. So then the residue, what is remaining, is what exists. So if you see, Vedanta starts from what exists and Buddha talks from what doesn't exist. But now, which is faster? Knowing what exists is slower, because then you should experience what exists, which unless a teacher is there who can show you that how to really see it, you might not even experience it. But easier one is what doesn't exist. That is easy. Letting go of name and form is more easier than letting go of consciousness. That's not possible. So it would be humanly impossible unless the person has good amount of punya, like the Virat Rupa can be seen. Even though we have gone through the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, 11th chapter, I don't think so we have experienced that Virat Rupa. If you don't experience Virat Rupa, then you will never know what really is Atma all about. So we might theoretically understand it, okay, this is what it is, but then we forget all about that because we have not seen it ourselves. So if you really see it for yourself, then there is no missing because you know who is watching you. So in Vedanta, it is the Brahman which sees everything. That means Sat. Whereas in the Buddha, he starts with Asat, what doesn't exist. The message here is like this. You go through Asat. When you completely understand Asat, Sat is revealed. Now, from Vedantic point of view, go through Sat and drop Asat. That is Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya. So the choice is yours, which way you want to go. But then you have to find a raft in Vedanta. Here you don't have to find a raft because the raft is there because it talks about Asat, what is not there. Did it clarify?
Yes.
But
Shunyata is not from the original Buddha, right? It's
No.
later on only it came.
Yeah, it is from the...
Because the main thing in the Vedanta, when Vedantic people, when they talk, they start with, that's the only difference they are telling. But actually, they says what Buddha says, Shunyata means it is with the full of energy. That is nothing but Brahman only. That also they conclude finally.
Yes.
Finally, they believe both.
No, it is not about what you believe or what you don't believe. See, the thing is like this. There is nothing called a shunyata as such. It is shunya, not shunyata. Shunyata gives a different of opinion. That means nothing exists. Which is like saying that there is nothing that exists, which is untrue. But
no, what is the difference between shunyata and shunya? Is it infinite? Shunya means?
Shunya means devoid of anything there. See, does Bhat exist? If there's a question, is it shunya or is it not shunya?
See, from the spiritual point of view, easy to understand Purnatva. That means everything Satya is there everywhere. That's called Purnatva. And when you bring Shunya, it is just opposite word. That is a feeling we get.
No, it's not like that. See, now, how do you know Purnatva? Have you experienced Purnatva?
Experience is something different. For intellectual understanding, Purnatva
that is the problem. No, that is the problem. See, what both Vedanta and Buddha teaches you is about experience, not about intellectualization. Whereas what has happened when we say Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate.
Okay, in that case, Vedanta says Purna and Buddha says Shunya. How it is possible? The words are totally different.
No, words. What is Purna? Now, what is Sampurna and what is Purna?
Is it Vedanta's Purna is equal to Buddha's Shunya?
No, you first answer me this question. What is the difference between Purna and Sampurna? There are two words, right? One is Sampurna, another one is Purna.
Purna is it is 100% occupied, for example. There is nothing that which is not there. That is the Purna.
And what is
and Sampurna means it is inclusive, all inclusive, some within that.
No, Sampurna means complete, full.
Complete.
And then why you require Purna then?
I think first time it has come to my mind. The difference between Purna and Sampurna.
Because
it is like Ananda and Brahmananda.
So now you have to explain me that.
Brahmananda means no, but Ananda means you can have Dukkha. Sukha Dukkha like that.
No, you can't. Ananda is bliss. So you can't have Dukkha or Sukha in bliss. Yeah, Lata, you wanted to say something from some time.
Yes.
1 second, I'm getting one call. So 1 second.
Okay. So, but the question is not about whether something is Purna or something is Shunya. It is from which side you want to look at it. Okay. So, Vedanta especially Upanishad, talks about from Sat. It defines Sat, simple. Okay. And everything is from Sat. So existence is truth. Clear? There is no doubt on Upanishad Vedanta. What Buddha talks is, he came from other side of it, because this side is very difficult to master or even understand except for intellectualization. Meaning, I can become a good Pandit by knowing it. I can recite, I can explain, I can do everything except for experiencing it, because Sat is myself. So how can you experience yourself as yourself? That becomes difficult. So what he did, he made a different way of looking at Asat. So he didn't bring Sat Asat as concept. He brought Sat Asat in experience. So let's say a person is born. If the person is born, can you call him as a Sat? No, it is Asat. Because it is conditioned. So anything that is conditioned will not have a existence. It will go out of existence. So now you go from Asat perspective, then you are going to drop off, just like what Shankara did in the end about Neti, 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 or in the Nirvana Shataka, he says that na Mata, na Pita and all that. So do you agree that there is no mother and father? Do you agree?
That Nirvana Shatkam fully agree, because it is whatever we have learned is nicely they have put it. There is no doubt at all there.
But for a normal person, would he agree with that? If somebody
normal person, no, because we are in that illusion.
Yes, so this is good for a person who is come out of illusion. He agrees that there is no mother, there is no father, there is no brother, there is no sister and all that. But
after some journey in spirituality, say Bhagavad Gita, once you go through that fully, or some Vivekachudamani intellectually, this is fully understandable that Nirvana should come.
Yes, otherwise for a normal person, even if he's a Smarta or Vedanta, would he agree?
No.
See, now that is what Sat is all about. If you come from Sat perspective, in the end you will get thoroughly confused, because all the while God exists and now you are saying nothing exists.
Nothing exists.
Which is Shunya, right?
It says Neti only. Nirvana should come is Neti.
So that means Shunya, right?
When Neti is the Asat is not Sat. That's what it says. Neti means.
Right, I agree.
Sat is Sat.
But what is Sat? That is the problem.
Sat is when you take out all Asat, the remaining is Sattva.
Now you see, you have contradicted. Now we started from Sat.
Yeah.
Vedanta starts from Sat. But you are saying when you remove Asat, then only you'll see Sat. That means you have come to Buddha teaching now.
Okay.
Buddha teaching is only from Asat. He doesn't talk Sat at all. There is no concept of Sat.
He comes from the other side of the coin. Vedanta comes from this side of the coin.
Yes. So if you
but both are touching the same goal.
Absolutely. You can't miss it. But only thing is that you require a person in case of Vedanta who has understood Sat.
Now, that is why Buddha's teaching is easier, because we intellectualize Sat.
Yes.
So it requires so much of reading to intellectualize Sat, because Sat is not known. To intellectualize Sat, we will have to require so many things. But then when you take Buddha's teachings, because he is telling something which is existing, and he's showing people something which is existing, and he's telling this is not true, it is easier for people to understand, is what I feel.
Yes, and just like yesterday we said, let X be 100, in this case let X be Om. Now the question comes, what is Om? Now Om is Purna. And now I don't know what is Om. To explain to me what is Om, there is no answer to it, because that is Sat.
It is experiential. It can't be explained.
It can't be explained. Now, how will you then explain to someone who cannot experience anything and yet experience it? This is the problem. So what?
It's like it is not coffee, it is not tea, it is not that, it is not that. Then what is
Yes.
that?
So what is that? So now
Yeah.
I will first say,
Pure water, it may be.
no, I will first say, but I'll give you tea, but it is not tea. Then you will say, is it water? No, it is not water. It is then tea powder? No. It's milk? No. Is it cup? No. It is nothing. Now you are going to say it is called Purnatva. I will say it is Shunya. Now you tell me which is correct.
Both are correct.
Exactly.
It's like saying you take the 1 rupee coin and say that head is 1 rupee, but tail is not 1 rupee.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes. So both Purnatva and Shunya are the same. There is nothing like he speaks about Shunya and we speak about Purnatva. It is like saying there is neither a cup, nor a milk, nor a sugar, nor water, nor tea. And that
In
is
that case, Vilas, these two, the learned people of those two experienced, there will not be any hate between these two.
should not
Both
have.
will feel that it is same.
Absolutely no.
Right. Because whatever I heard so far, they started comparing and started telling that up to 90% it is same, last 10% is different. So we prefer this way, Vedanta style. That is what there in my mind. Okay, my experience I will tell you. Once I visited that Kushal Nagar, there is one Buddha colony there. No?
Correct.
I just 5 years back, I just visited there first time. It was on my way to native place. I was very impressed with the campus inside. I went and I did a Sastanga Namaskara to Buddha. Immediately one monk and came that you please don't do that. I was not aware. Then maybe after some time now I realized why they are telling that. They don't practice any rituals. I think they just practice meditation. But we are used to that Sastanga Namaskara when the moment you see that deity.
That's correct. See that
So then I thought during that time, Buddhism will not fit for my thought. Because for me, surrender, Taranagati is ultimate. That's what I was thinking. But they don't allow me to do that. It will not fit to my thought. That was I was thinking till maybe last year or so.
No, just to clarify, the Bailikuppe, that one what you went is not a real Buddhist monastery. It is a college, number one. Number two is that it is from Vajrayana. It has got nothing to do with original Buddha teaching. Okay, so there are three vehicles which have happened. One is a Theravada tradition which is followed in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, that is Burma and Thailand. Then there is Mahayana tradition which is followed in China, Korea, Japan, parts of India and all that. And there is Vajrayana which is also part of Mahayana, which is what Dalai Lama and all that is. So the Vajrayana is a mix of Hindu and Buddhist Tantra. It's more about Tantra than Buddha teaching. And the original is a born religion of Tibet. Okay, so what you see in a Tibetan settlement or Tibetan monasteries are totally different than the Buddha teaching. That doesn't mean that they don't follow Buddha teaching. I'm saying that the way it is understood, the way it is said is totally different. And it is even more faster than the original Buddha teaching because it uses Tantra. Okay, so just like Sadhguru is more tantric than Vedic, similarly the Mahayana, that is the Vajrayana tradition, is more tantric than being Buddhist. So that's
which one is the original one? Is it Theravada or Mahayana? Which one?
Original is called a Theravada. Thera means elder, Vada means spoken by elders, is Theravada. Okay, and that also has got distorted in Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand because of a Sanskrit scholar who went there called Buddha Gosa, and he wrote a lot of commentaries and he translated from Pali to Sanskrit and Sanskrit to Pali, so there are a lot of issues are there. So nowhere you'll find a pure Buddha teaching actually. So you have to unearth yourself. Okay, so a little bit of that is when I went to Sri Lanka to meet a monk. That monk, looking at me, he said that this person whom I see is come as a foreigner is a person who knows it from his birth. So his previous life, he knows it exactly, and that's the reason he is able to talk like this. Otherwise, it is not possible in this time, in this part of the world. Okay, and the same experience I had in the year 2018 when I went to Ladakh. I'd gone with my friends and their families, and then one Lama over there, my partner was explaining to him that this person knows a lot of Buddha teaching, and then he said he's a Lama himself, so why do you doubt that he doesn't know Buddha teaching? So he asked me to sit in a separate place than all these other people, and said that your seat is not along with them, you should sit separately. I said okay, so I sat wherever he asked me to sit. So what I'm trying to say is that just like in Vedanta, you have many things which are distorted or twisted. Same thing is the problem with Buddha teaching also. But if you really know the pure teaching of Buddha, you will immediately experience what is said in the sutta. It's not sutra, so they have made it as sutra, but it's not sutra, it is sutta. So it becomes very easy to experience. Unless that happens, it is the same problem like what Vedanta has. That means you require to have a good teacher, and you have to go and talk to him and do all that. So both support.
Vilas, I think when we do this sankalpa, see, in the Vedanta only I'm talking about our style, there is Buddha comes very clearly. See, I will just try to repeat that. Daily I do this. Shvetavaraha kalpe, Vaivaswata manvantare, Kaliyuge, Pradhanapade, Jambudvipe, Bharatakande, Dandakaranye, Godavari, Dakshinatire, Shalivanasake, Bauddhavatare.
Correct. Bauddhavatara is there.
Asmin Vartamane, then we telling that today's Yoga Karana and all that.
Correct.
So that Bauddhavatara is there in the whole thing. There is no Rama, no Krishna.
Correct.
But after that we do our Sanjavadana.
Correct. Very correct. So this same...
And that means I was thinking that there has to be something. It is superior for the first sentence comes like that. For everyone. For Madhva or Smartha or whoever it is.
Correct. This is the question I had asked my father-in-law long time ago. Why do you say Buddhavatare? So he was saying that Buddha is different, this Buddha is different. It's not a question of whether that Buddha, this Buddha is different, but why you should have Buddhavatare. You can have Ramavatare or Krishnavatare or Kurmavatare, some other avatare, right? Why should you have Buddhavatare? Anyway, so to make things easy.
You have any clarification for that? Why it has entered in this?
No. I had antagonized my father-in-law, then I antagonized my brother's in-laws also. With
and Dashavatara, last one is this one, right? Buddha.
Yeah, it is actually Buddhavatara. So then...
not last. Not last, huh? Yeah.
Not last.
Last is Kalki.
Matsya Kurma Varahancha, something like that.
Kalki is the last one.
Kalki,
This is 9th.
But you don't refer Kalki in this when we do Sankalpa.
Yes.
All Sankalpa every day in all temples.
Yes, because...
Only Buddha's name comes.
Yeah, Buddha name comes because
Kalki Avatara is not happened is what they will say.
Yes.
Meaning at least the regular people, they will say Kalki is not yet happened. It will happen at the end of the Kali Yuga.
Yes. So Kalki is yet to come. Buddha is already come. So we are in the Shalivana Shaka.
So my feeling is it was there somewhere in I don't know how many thousand years back ago, because it's Saraswati that now it's a Gupta Gamini.
Correct.
And in that all these Veda, Rigveda and all that, I think with some that rishis, it got that power again. And from that time onwards, it's a Vedic. Probably they might have lost all other things.
In fact, but you will be shocked to know this is Kashyapa. Okay, Kashyapa Muni.
Yes.
He is a Buddha. Not the Gautama Buddha. Gautama is one of the Buddha. But
because my Gotra is Kashyapa Gotra.
yeah, he is a Buddha. if you were to get that, you will be shocked that he is a Buddha.
गोत्रोच्चारण काश्यपवत्सा नैवत्रिवीति त्रिप्रवरान्वित काश्यप गोत्र उत्पन्नः
Correct.
ब्रह्मण्य शर्मः.
Correct.
So very clear.
And it is very clear, like you are a Buddhist.
But actually, Buddha, meaning there are many Buddhas, right?
Yes.
Not that it's
No. Buddha, see, there is a meaning for
Buddha
Buddha.
meaning is yes.
Yeah, there is a
The
meaning.
enlightened, right?
No. It is not about enlightenment. It is bhaveya uddha Buddha, meaning bhava is to become. One who has removed becoming is a Buddha.
Bhavatitam, right?
It is the
Bhavati.
same as enlightened, right?
No, enlightened word is a somewhat crazy word in English. Actually,
In English it is, English, meaning liberated.
Yeah.
They won't say liberated because liberated is not understood by many people.
Jnanodaya.
They will say enlightened, meaning
yes, I got it. So, mukta is the best word to be used for Buddha, that one who has shown the path of mukti. See, there are confusion regarding mukti. So, Buddha as such, if you put a word Buddha, what it means is that bhaveya uddha, which is a person who has experienced what is called as mukti, or what is real mukti. So, if you are a Kasyapa, in Pali it is called Kasyapa Muni, and in Sanskrit it is called as Kashyapa Muni. So if you are from a lineage of Kashyapa, you are already a Buddha follower.
All very interesting things.
Yeah, because what is Buddha is Bhaveya Uddha. That means one who has removed further becoming. So there is nothing to become. Okay, now what is the problem here is that we have made Buddha as a person, and that is the whole problem.
That is a concept, but we are referring to the person.
It is Gautama Buddha. It is not only Buddha. When we say Buddha, we are putting one statue of Buddha. No,
We just get only that in front of our eye.
yeah, there are in this Shalivana Shaka, there are 2,500 Buddhas before Gautama Buddha. Okay, and in that one of the Buddha is Kashyapa, who is the contributor into the Veda also.
Yes.
And you are from Kashyapa. So now you are officially a Buddhist.
There is nothing called Hindu, no? No wonder, this is interesting. There is nothing called Hindu.
Yeah, there's nothing called Hindu, there's
It's
nothing
only
called
started
Buddhist.
by British people, Hindu,
Yes.
because of the river.
No, there is funny things about that, so let us not go over there. Yeah, Padma Shri, you had a question or something.
I wanted to see. That is why perhaps the Buddha. You said there were 2,500 Buddhas before Gautama Buddha. That's what you said, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So what I was wondering is, I think, see, that is because that is why it is called Bauddha Avatara. Bauddha Avatara doesn't refer to any particular Buddha. I
Correct.
think all the people who have got that, meaning who have experienced that mukti,
Correct.
that avatara is going on, meaning there will be many more people like that who will be experiencing mukti. I think that is what is the kala definition that they have given in that whatever Bhatt chanted, no? Now,
Yes.
That's what,
Correct.
that is why, meaning Bauddha Avatara, they don't refer to any particular Buddha, meaning where you can go in for mukti, meaning there are many people who can go in for mukti, who can experience mukti. I think that is the kala.
Yes.
In that case, can I say safely, Shankara is also a Buddha?
Yes. Anybody who has crossed the samsara is a Buddha. Simple. There's nothing called
The enlightened soul is
a Buddha. Because he has seen how to cross the samsara. That's all.
That's the reason we say that whatever the religion is born in India, it is not ism. It is an experience.
Yes. Very correct.
Because it was in our mind, it was so strongly, engraved telling that is another religion, Jainism is one more religion, and all that different religions. It is just a way of life. Whichever is convenient to you, follow.
Correct.
Ritual is that Shodasha Samskara and all that to bring that person to entry for Dvijatva. After that, it is your journey.
And also, but if you're following Shodasha Samskara, there is Antyeshti, and if you do Antyeshti, there is no Titi, there is nothing like you do Shraddha.
Nothing.
Then why are you doing it? Which is against Vedas itself.
Yeah, correct. That I agree.
So then why are we doing it in the first place?
But it is a very nice. So I got something today because I feel there is a connection between what you mentioned, Vilas, that Buddha comes from Asat, and he says all the remaining, if you categorize everything as Asat, what is remaining is Sat.
Correct.
Okay, so when you say that, I think the reason also when Gautam Buddha was born, that was the time when everything was done in Sanskrit and only a few set of people could understand something. Even if you want to understand Sat, because from a Vedic perspective, you understand Sat first, and to understand that you have to we have to read a lot of scriptures. And for that you should know Sanskrit, and the Pamaras will not know Sanskrit. So I think the whole path of expanding this path of mukti to all people was the main this one of Gautam Buddha also, and that is why the whole thing is more coming from that perspective, making it easy for everybody to understand this path. Meaning, as you rightly put, it is easier to understand that something is there, but that is not there. Rather than imagining something, if you look at the other side, you have to start to imagine a lot of things.
Correct.
First.
Correct.
You have to give a form and name and something like that. You have to keep on imagining of something which you have never experienced, you have never known about it.
Yes.
I think it's a very distinct way you have told. I very well now can get that, how both of them are converging.
Right.
And I also feel why it happened also must be because of that time, the context was like that.
Yes, that is true.
That is why most of Buddha, meaning all of Buddha's teachings are in the Pali language, which is the language of the commoner.
Yes, and that is the reason there are two Brahmins who approach Buddha some time ago and ask him that can I write it in Sanskrit? He says very clearly, this should be in a local language, not in Sanskrit. So that is what it is all about. So one is through Asat and one is through Sat. Sat is Vedanta, Asat is Buddha teaching. We are already at 9:26.
Yes, but good discussion.
So shall we meet tomorrow with the what is that? Vivekachudamani. Mamila.
Yes.
Otherwise we can talk. We still have 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes has to be used.
Yeah.
I have for one sloka worth of time, no problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
5-10 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm not
Lata was supposed to say something. She got a call also.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is both paths are the same, meaning both will lead to the same destination. But in Vedanta, from my experience, if you get a glimpse of that Brahman, then it becomes many things will open for you and you will know what to do actually.
Correct.
So, and I've been doing some things, and then when I went to Buddha teachings, then it became clear, okay, whatever I am experiencing and whatever has been written over there is the same actually. So, and I have stumbled onto it by investigation by myself, and and then whatever that 9 jhanas. So I went up to 6 or 7. So all that are experiential. So whatever, only thing is that Buddha has named it first jhana, second jhana, third jhana. So then I also have a feeling, okay, then I'm also getting the experience whatever is there in some scriptures. But that level of explanation is not there in Vedanta. So it is like you can fill the gaps from Buddha's teachings and come back to Vedanta. It is not that you have to completely go into Buddhist teachings and then go behind that, because you have a lot of information. We already have gained a lot of information in Vedantic tradition, and then you take some things from Buddha teachings, and then it will become more clear. It will become more and more clear. So I am I will now ask Vilas to give me some other videos which I can go through, because it makes, whenever I watch something, it makes things clearer and clearer for me. And so that is why I felt, since we are starting from Sat in Vedanta, if you get a glimpse of it, then it becomes easier. Then you know for sure such a thing is existing, because otherwise it is a concept in your mind and you always will have a doubt. Whether it is shunya, whether it is full, and whether it is this or that. So once that doubt is completely gone, then you will be able to easily work out. Is what I feel. This is what I wanted to say.
Very correct. So one is from Asat and one is from Sat. Both brings you to the same place. No difference. So the destination is the same.
And that's why in Vedantic tradition, the guru will also touch the forehead of the Shishyas and then show what that Brahman is for a second or a glimpse. And then that Shishya will know, okay, such a thing is there for sure. And then he is on the real path.
Yeah.
If they are not able to get on their own, sometimes the gurus do that. So I think in Buddhist tradition that's not required, because you are starting from the other end.
Yeah.
And you can go.
Yes, for that reason you don't require to believe in anything. You can straight away go with that, and what residue remains is Sat. So you'll come back to Satchidananda itself.
But you have to stick to one thing continuously, then that will get revealed, and then you are on your own, actually speaking.
The next meeting is on. Okay, 9:30.
Okay. Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.